Hi everyone, Susie here from Minnesota, and I garden in a Zone 4B, and I'm just going to take you on a tour of my gardens. It's about the third week in June, and we had, what a way to bring in summer when the last couple days have been 99 to 100 degrees here. It's been absolutely crazy, and high winds. Today is the first calm day since last Thursday. Otherwise, that high heat and high winds have just taken a number on some things. This looks beautiful. I was watering my containers about twice a day, some of them in the morning and at night, just trying to get them through. They're doing really good. Some are struggling a little bit. This is looking good. I'm just kind of backing off the water a little bit because I've seen just a little bit of yellowing on them. But it's something where I was worried that if I didn't have them watered, that they're not just going to wilt, they're going to fry. This is a hardy hibiscus and looks fantastic. This is a mum. It's wilting down there. Well, we haven't had a whole lot of moisture. We do need some rain. About a week ago, we were looking green and lush, and with those winds and heat, it's browned everything up pretty good. I'm glad I'm a lot of shade. I'm hoping the Dichondra Silver Falls is a ground cover at some point in here. I'm holding off with the mulch this year. Next year will be I'll probably have about 8 to 9 yards brought in. I didn't this year because I'm going to have a lot of work done in my gardens. Trees are coming down, and I didn't want to go through all that work with the mulch just to have them undo what I do. And just this year I'm trying to work smarter and not harder, if that makes sense. I do have some new shrubs here. They're growing in my Misfit Garden. I kind of have an idea. Hydrangeas are looking good. So I'm really happy. And those winds just take a toll on some of the foliage plants. This is doing really good here. And the one that I noticed it with was down here. So, and it's not dry. So I don't know what I want to do there. They're just seeds I started in the season. I might just get rid of that one and back and let it fill out. But I know snapdragons kind of don't like the heat, although we're supposed to get a nice break from this. Tomorrow's supposed to be 93, but then going into the 80s, which will be just beautiful. My arch is loaded with these blooms from the William Baffin climbing rose. Just love it. It's got a light scent over here. I love the single variety petals of roses. I just think they're more prolific, and the pollinators love it. I'm just, oh. It is a very vibrant pink. But look, I gotta tie that back a little bit. So yeah, so this is such a pretty spot right now. This is, I want to say it's third year. I think doing really good. Shasta Daisy down here and just starting to open. My columbines here have pretty much been defoliated. I will cut these all back to the ground. You can see there is foliage coming up in the bottom. But amongst all of this in here, so I don't have a huge gap, I am going to resort to adding just some bedding annuals that I like. And that's just, I got a white one. This is Snow Nymph. Because I have Hummingbird Coral Nymph, and then I thought, so I have 2 white and then 2, and they're just little tiny 4-packs. So I didn't plant these. I do not do a whole lot when it's 100 degrees. I just water. And then I sit in my chair. Sorry about all the coffee cups there. I have to clean up after myself. Lady's Mantle down here is probably the best looking one out of all of them. And it's got the room to grow. I would say it's probably about 3 feet in diameter. Just lovely. I'm very happy with that one. This is one of my favorite perennials. I probably should do a video on my favorite perennials. And same with the hostas. I'll think about it. And then this hardy geranium finally is filling out a little bit more, liking it. It's almost finished blooming, but that's okay. I love the foliage, and it keeps that the whole season. It doesn't get scraggly looking, because sometimes some hardy geraniums can. I love these grasses. I can't say enough about them. I need more of these. I just love how they're see-through. They softened everything. They're just favorites. And look at that. And then my Delphiniums. Absolutely loving this purple in here. It is a very vibrant purple. I'm okay with that because it's just, that's all I see when I look at my kitchen window. I do need to come in here and deadhead that one. And then hopefully it's sent up more flower spikes later on. Maynite Salvia. At some point the bee balm down here should be, or Monarda, is going to look beautiful. The yarrow is looking really good. With the roses coming up behind it. This is also easy Italian ice. I think I've had this for about 5 years now. I'd gotten this actually from Logi's online because I like the also easy varieties, but a lot of the greenhouses around here didn't carry them. So it was that one and then the double red I had gotten from there. White Wands Veronica is going to be looking glorious here pretty soon. Just coloring up a little bit at the bottom. I shouldn't say coloring up because it's white. Did I get... So I love the Italian ice, also easy rose. It is so pretty. It does end up with different colors throughout the stages as it matures. Got lots of buds up top. Very happy with that. These are roses that, so I always plant my roses a bit deeper just because in a cold climate, if that top growth gets nipped by the cold, at least it'll push up more from the bottom. I've had luck that way, and I mean these I had cut back hugely in early season. I didn't think they were going to amount to anything, and they're doing really good. They're a no-brainer for me. I mean, these Delphiniums, what can I say? They're just beautiful. This at some point, this is Stachys officinalis. It's going to be loaded in blooms. I figured, you know, when my gardens were underwater, yeah, it's funny how I had too much water. It was flooded back here. And now not enough. But I figured this would be the first one to go because they don't like a whole lot of moisture. I mean, they like some, but not sitting in it. They look really good. Very happy with that. I think Pixie founded Tufted hair grasses. I got these from Great Garden Plants last year. I think they're finally starting to open up. I think they look really good. And this one is really happy back here. But I like it. I love grasses. I can't say enough. And then the Penstemon, Onyx and Pearls. And then Anthos Valerian. There's a beautiful scent with it. My sister, on the other hand, who she's very scent sensitive, she can't smell this. She did. I'm like, how can I? Whenever any little scent just triggers a reaction in her. The Ito peonies are finished. I will be trimming up the heads on that. The Baptisia also, but it looks like a shrub. It's absolutely amazing. I do not trim off the flower spikes. They put out some really nice seed pods. I think it also adds something to the plant and to the garden. You can already see them forming here. And it's just glorious. There'd be no reason to cut that back whatsoever. And then my tree peony, remember when that middle part died out and I said I was going to cut it? Well, when I came in here, I just cut the tip off because look, there's new growth. I'm glad I left it. And this is the Double Red Oh So Easy Rose. This is one I would recommend. This is glorious. This is a showstopper. I got a lot of compliments last year on this from family and friends, and it's easy and it's a performer. I even prefer it over the Italian Ice. I know everybody is raving about that one, but it's good, but not as good as this one. And this one gets to a nice size. Where I find the Italian Ice, to me, gets a little leggy, almost like a climber, but that's just my opinion. Veronica Sightseeing Mixture I started from seed last year, which is going to be blooming, starting to. And then, so this one, then there's a white one down here, and along with my favorite grasses. Just love it. Supposed to be in the mid-80s today, actually really nice. The foliage down here on the ornamental alliums, the purple sensation, is horrible looking, but I just think this adds structure. Once they start falling over or becoming an eyesore, I'll probably think about coming in and cutting them off, but they're staying for the time being. And then here is just, it's called Purple Pavement Rose. It's just, never liked the name, but love it. And the bees love it. So everything looks good in this garden here. It's pulled through. I did give it a good watering before the heat, just because this drains really well. And look, I think the common name is poached eggplant. Well, now it's a fried eggplant. And I don't think I'm going to keep them at this point. I'm just not sure what else, because I wanted them to cascade a little bit. That was my vision. And everything else will look really good in here. The Gara is just loving its life. I mean, this is one plant here and loaded. And then the grasses, Coral Forester, getting all its plumes. I love it. I can't wait. I love how the grasses just have like different blooming times. I mean, yeah, look at that. I mean, that was well watered. It just got fried. Again, I think I don't know if I said it, but I'm glad I'm a northern gardener, because that heat was. I just love this. That just shines. Sorry, not a container tour. I have lots of weeding to do. Now that the weather is going to get cool here on the weekend, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the rain. This is where I mulched. I did buy some mulch. Not a lot of it, because I just went to my local garden center, where I always go to. And I don't for mulch. I usually have that delivered. And they wanted $9 a bag. So I just got what I had to get, and that's crazy. And then I did back here to kind of help prevent digging, but keep the moisture in. Cup and Saucer Vine is just going to town. What an aggressive grower. They're going to meet at some point. I have a white cream one and then a mauve purple one. This is Silver Moon Hyacinth Bean Vine, looking good. I love the foliage on that. This one's looking a little bit tough, but this is the Ruby Moon. I'm going to have to trim this up at some point, the Zebra Hollyhock. And then, look at these. I do need to stake them can see which way the wind was going. Again, I can see it from my kitchen window. It's stunning. And then the zebra hollyhocks too are really pretty also, but they're definitely putting a lot of energy into going to seed. I just feel, there we go, there, self-seed. Then I want to show you this. Came out the other day. I was watering this, and look, my first flower, and it's a female. So I hope a bee finds that. Usually I always have so many male flowers first, and then the female ones come later. But yeah, I'm happy. It's called Eureka, that cucumber. Still everything looking good in here. These I just planted not too long ago. I wasn't sure what the colors are going to be. These are just dahlias I started from seed. And I resowed some beans, and guess what? I got some, would like a few more in here, but that's okay. I got them to come up. Oh, I was a little bit worried. And then this is looking good. This is the hummingbird coral nymph, and it's starting to branch out really nicely. Very happy about that. I love this salvia, Texas sage. It's the same thing. These cucumbers look really good. I've been watering just where they're at. You can tell because it's cracked there. It's kind of like X marks the spot. And then in here I got rid of all my radishes because they all bolted. Crazy. So I just have kohlrabi in here. I'm hoping they get a good base on them. Cabbages look really good. I weeded, fertilized, and watered heavily. And then this valerian here. I know it's huge, but oh, the scent right now between that and the roses. I have not mowed. I watch the weather for when I mow and not when it's 100 degrees, but now I'm thinking I did the right thing because until we get a rain, all the lawns around me are starting to brown up, except all of my little tree root shoots are coming up, which is kind of an eyesore. And here, this is my Misfit Garden. I call it that because it's taken over by Creeping Jenny. This is where I'm going to plant the shrubs. I just feel that the perennials in here, they're getting smothered by the Creeping Jenny. So I'm going to work with it and not against it because I think it's just easier to go that route. This was my first rose. Paprika, also easy rose. And this is when I fell in love with the also easy. And I'll see about next year. With losing my 2 shade trees, might try some different varieties of roses. I can't really go the David Austin route because there's some, but there's not a whole lot. So I'm just going to go to my local greenhouses and see what they're carrying. The Nepeta, just saw this the other day, so yeah. So I have some things to do in this garden here, and hopefully a rain, and then I can work in here. This is Campanula. I'm not going to be keeping this. I know the rabbits got to a bunch of it down here, and I just think it's not right for this spot. I didn't think I was going to get that tall. It would probably look better in my cottage garden. So here, this does spread, but there are other things crowding it out, so it just kind of pops up every now and then. I think it's called Sundrops. Someone told me primrose. Just sedums. I was going to get rid of it, but with my shady situation turning into sun next year, I think keeping them might be the best thing. And then this Sabaria sorbifolia is loaded in buds. I wanted to get in here and trim this up so the birds can see it. But I want this to bloom first. Daffodils. And then back here, I'm not going to go to the back garden. Not a whole lot happening back there. The clematis, this is climbing okay. I tied that one up and it just looks a little like confined, but I didn't know how else to do it because it was all coming forward. And those alliums did not last long, I would say. 3-4 days. Oh, look at the goat's beard back here. Oops, where am I? Right there. That looks good. Those are in containers. I'm going to put some mulch around that. They will stay there for till next year. I'm going to do a little test to see if they work. I'm a zone 4, so usually they say like 2 zones colder. Perennials and shrubs can make it. I'm going to try with those. And maybe some other ones. Turtle head is massive. It's just, I find this such an easy plant to grow, at least for me. More valerian here. Again, I love that scent. I know it's a thug. I know it self-seeds. Everything I read about it says it, so you'll have to be careful. And here, I think it has a better chance of doing that. With the creeping Jenny, not so much. And then the giant fleece flower actually finally got giant. I love it. It might be getting moved next year. I just think it's competing with the pagoda dogwood here for a space. And this is, to me, worth showing off. I do like I like both of them, but they're both like specimen plants. It's just both eye catchers. Lady's mantle looks pretty good over here too. Grasses. I think I can come in here and finally just deadhead all of the Camasias. I think they're to that point. This is Chocolate Shogun Astilbe. I don't think I'd recommend this one. It's not that spectacular. The foliage is really nice, but again, it's just it hasn't spread. I've got 2 plants here, and it looks like 1. The bloodroot is going to seed. I'm going to let it because I do like that foliage on here, and then I'll just kind of give it a haircut and neaten it up. My grasses here look good, but things are just, that's okay. Aconocloa. And then my honeysuckle back here. Sorry, my right hand is falling asleep. Those winds just knocked off all the blooms, and I was worried about that. So it will bloom throughout the season, just not as spectacular as early in the season. But it's covering my arch, and I just love it. It looks so whimsical over there, especially with that birdhouse. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about these violas. They're looking really tough. Again, we're supposed to get a little bit cooler, so it might be okay. But it's just, right now it's kind of blending in this area, and it's not popping out. My garden center had some caladiums, like plants. I know I said I didn't want to buy any, but oh man, I don't know. When garden centers start having their sales, it's like, this is still, I thought it was going to be a red bloom, so very happy that it's this pink. It's loving its life here. I just love it, along with that vibrant green hosta. Beautiful. I've only been watering a few things. It's been the astilbes and the ferns. I'm going to say the Japanese painted ferns. This one is going to look great this year. It only had 1 bloom stalk last year, so it's going to be a white one. I can't wait. I did come in here and trim up all of my spring blooming bulbs, the daffodils, grape hyacinths. Looks like the rabbits have found this hosta down here. This is blue mouse ears. Oh, I did water this pulmonaria too. Just some favorites, and along with some of these hookahs. I love that foliage color. And then these astilbes back here. I think these are all going to be the same color, but I'll get some blooms from at least 2 of them. So yeah, I've been watering this also. For the most part, I can honestly say that things are they're doing really good. For not watering and just that heat, holy cow, when you come out and everything's wilting, and even in the shade. All I think about is next year, this is all going to be full sun, and my air conditioning was running constantly. I have it set at 78. It was working so hard. And that's with the shade trees. Next year, I cringe. I'm not liking this. I want to get rid of it. I don't think it's liking its spot here. It's probably too dry, too shaded. It gets a good amount of sun. It might just be too dry. It's a blue dwarf Arctic willow, so they like more water. But yeah, it's just yellowing. Like I said, it's just go from being too wet, now dry. Trimmed up the Berneras, all of those heads. Isn't that one beautiful? And I'm glad it's over here on its own, because if it would be with these are nice, but not as, and this is Jack of Diamonds. But the foliage on this one is more vibrant. Not liking these. I usually leave the flower heads on the Hookahs. They last long, but they're just not much of a color to those. And then Sum and Substance is always a showstopper. This has been here probably for, did I say 10 years? Yeah, I mean, that's, what can I say? And then this goat's beard too, same time. These two, and then this goat's beard was, if I can show you, behind my bench back there. I don't know if I can. So, not a huge area. So then I decided to move them here. And all I can say is wow. And then this goat's beard is just your common variety. It's just loaded in buds. And I never cut the flower heads off even after blooming. They offer so much in a garden. Like this one has gone over, but it's just going to keep that. So I love it. They like moisture, but they do not like to sit in it, because I did lose two in the back garden. I was able to save this one, but during a wet season, my gardens are very, very wet in back. European ginger looks really good. So actually, this looks, they said not so windy today. I'd gone fishing early in the morning, which, no luck, but it was just beautiful to be on the lake. But yeah, they said 5 to 10. And then Ostrich Ferns, they're just going to have to pull through. I'm not going to water those. And those are an aggressive fern. If they're not liking it in the shade here this year, they're going to hate it next year in full sun. And this entire garden is going to stay here. I'm not going to move any of this. I'm going to see what can pull through and what can't. This is just a bush honeysuckle native. You can tell it loves its life here. It is blooming. I don't think there's anything spectacular about these blooms. It does run. But I love it. And then along with the curly fries hosta, I've been watering this. I'm trying to get this to bounce back. We'll see what happens. I just love that foliage on it. It's arborvitae technique. You can see all the little tree root shoots, but still a green lawn. This, well, I call it snow on the mountain. That's what my tag said. So it's known as bishopweed, goutweed. I'm sure there's lots of names for this. Maybe just obnoxious. It's all wilting. And I was out here watering like, why? They're going to be working in this one, and you know what? It's invasive. It is blooming. It is beautiful. It is very beautiful. But you know what? If we get a rain, it'll perk right back up. I have to come in here and weed and trim up my tulips. So that's why I'm not going to do a whole lot in this garden, because right now it's a bit of It looks good far away. I'll just say that. I just want to show you here, I have hydrangeas. I'm going to water at some point once I weed. And if I have any mulch left, I might mulch around them. But again, I'll do a tour once I get that cleaned up. This is just the reality of gardening, especially when it's hot. You kind of pick and choose what you have to do, and then also when you're battling mosquitoes. And then over here, Hookah Palace Purple. I had gotten this from a coworker last year, and it was just growing in her landscape fabric and rock. So it is definitely a good heuchera, at least in my zone. And then Pulmonium, Jacob's Ladder is going over. I will trim it up at some point. Still think it's kind of pretty. Chantilly Lace Goat's Beard, I am watering this. I love it. It will get to be about 3 to 4 feet tall. And I love the fact, and I know a lot of you are not fans of yews. You think they're kind of an eyesore. Well, they work in my area. I don't do boxwoods because they're just prone to blight and winter dieback. And it's not worth it, at least for me. I've just battled that. I love the yews, and they're flushing out with all this growth. At first, I only saw some at the bottom, and I was concerned. I know there's browning inside, but it's looking good. So, whew. I like them. And then the Sun King Aurelias. Push out new growth. I have not watered this either. And then the Black Lace Elderberry. Sorry, I was just giving that motorcycle. It's looking good. I just watered the Chantilly lace in here because I bought it. I probably should do these hostas because honestly, cool as a cucumber, and their first full year in the ground, they look really good. Especially, I went kind of past it, this one over here. The variegation on it is amazing. It's like a dark green, almost blue on the outside, if you can see that, a light green, and then cream and white. And some leaves are just really, look at that. Very happy with those. They say they get about 3 to 4 feet wide. I think only 2 feet tall. I mean, even for a hosta, that's pretty good. But yeah, the width, they're probably a little close. But they'll be fine for a few years. More goat's beard, Chantilly lace. I love it. And then this hook right here, Palace Purple. Just seeds I started last year, and they are performers. This is what I mean. It's just, and the height they get. I would say this has to be close to, I will say 18 inches. And just love this one. My gardens will never be without that variety. Hardy Geranium, I think it's Vision Light Pink. I started from seed. So dainty. Such a light pink. I just love it. It just softens this area. I was hoping it would fill in, and it's doing what I wanted it to do. The Boba Hydrangeas are yellowing a little bit. I have not watered these. I might have to go in and give them a shot. And they are getting their flower heads on, at least a couple of them. Just a little boost for that hot spell. And then the Lamium. I mean, look how beautiful that is. This was wilting the entire time, but yet look at all the blooms on it. I love this. And this is filled in really nicely. I'm glad I didn't add extra. I think we'll be just fine. Except this one back here is white. And I mean, even the leaves are a little different too. Can you see that? So from that one, and bigger. It's okay. I'm not going to take it out because it doesn't match. I'm not that type of gardener. If it can survive here, it can live here for the most part, as long as I like it. And even if I don't like it, sometimes it stays. These containers, I felt so bad. They look okay, but wow. This gets the west sun probably about 4 hours. But oh my goodness, it had the wind just beating down on it yesterday. This isn't too bad over here. And this one, the leaf tore back here. I just have to show you. Look, caladiums are starting to come up. Yay. I knew they would with these because this just gets the hot, scorching heat. I mean, the front, this, I would say from about 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, you almost have to go in the back way because the sun just beats down on that door. But look at this one. I'm like, ugh. Again, I can't call this a full sun area because it does only get maybe 4 hours of sun here. But it just gets that intense sun. Sorry, I need to put that away. Oh, these look a little bit better, but look. So cool. I'm just, can't wait. But yeah, I was out here trimming this up a little bit here to give this room here. But yeah, you can see the browning in here is, and there's a lot at the bottom. Can you see that? Alright. So it was kind of a full garden tour, kind of showing you the good and the okay. We'll say the okay. So hopefully you enjoyed, and bye for now.